My name is Peter Smoley. I'm the CEO of AnalyticsCreator, and my partner Dimitri Sorokin is also here. He is the CTO. He's the main brain, I would say, from AnalyticsCreator. He will do the presentation today. So, what is AnalyticsCreator? AnalyticsCreator is a data automation technology for automatically developing data warehouses and data platforms. It's made for experts, and also it's possible to use it without expert knowledge. This works in a way by generating source code instead of programming manually. So AnalyticsCreator orchestrates the full life cycle of a data warehouse and data marts and also data lakes. It automates the design process, the development process, the change process, and of course the deployment. And AnalyticsCreator replaces old-fashioned ETL technologies. And it's up to 10 times faster and less costs. Yeah, at the beginning, I want to show you some use cases. Everybody hope know the company Bosch. We have done their amazing project which saved 80% of time and costs of IT controlling data warehouse. The reason why we know it so exactly is that a year before we start our work, a team developed a data warehouse and they needed about 12 months. And a year after, we are invited to modernize the data warehouse to implement slowly changing dimensions and historization concepts. So we had a look on this project and we find out it's easier to do it with AnalyticsCreator and generate everything new. And after 2.5 months, we were finished. And this was one person and with AnalyticsCreator. And the team before, they had 3 persons. So this is a really nice story. Yeah, the next story is really small, medium company. I think many people of you know this company. I mostly started 4 years ago from the day with their data journey. A junior consultant fresh from the university used AnalyticsCreator to learn about data warehousing step by step. So he was not an expert, and he used AnalyticsCreator to get one. They needed just 4 training days from us to grow up the entire data warehouse. Today they have a data warehouse in all departments of the company. This is a customer in the real estate domain. We can't show the brand name of the company, but it's an amazing story. They had to implement a data warehouse with several SAP instances, and they have a lot of work to do to grow up an ingest layer from SAP in Azure. And it's no joke. It's really 20 times faster. They measure the time and report it to us. They are 20 times faster to using AnalyticsCreator. Yeah, this is the bug survey. I sent the email out 3 days ago. Some of you, I think, get this document for free. 3 times or 3 years in a row, we won the first place in best data warehouse automation technology in a lot of different KPIs in automation, functionality, pricing, product certifications, and so on. You see the bullet on the right corner. There is also SAP, but I don't know. Nobody knows why SAP is there. Maybe they had some marketing budget for this job. What's about our vision? So AnalyticsCreator is always thinking to do something to bring you independent, with your technology, with your data warehouse. AnalyticsCreator is just a pure design time tool. There is no runtime, there is no vendor lock. So when you generated the source code, you can delete AnalyticsCreator and everything will run smoothly. There is also a holistic data model of your business and your data, and this is a good bridge for communication between both departments. And of course, in our contract details, we transfer the copyrights of the generated code which you've done with AnalyticsCreator to you and to the partners. So you feel free of everything. You can use the code without AnalyticsCreator and without paying a subscription. But I hope you will have a longer time a subscription, because there are many benefits, not only just for the first year. We focus 100% on the Microsoft stack and Azure, of course. We do nothing else. So we cannot generate a data warehouse on Oracle or PostgreSQL or something. We want to be the best in this area, and this is why we invest 100% time in the Microsoft stack. There is an open repository, so everything what we generate or everything we store in the metadata environment, we store it in the Microsoft SQL DB. So this open repository allows you to do your own developments and to create add-ons on AnalyticsCreator if you are missing something. For example, we have a partner which have done used AnalyticsCreator, the design component, but they wrote their own component for generating a database with MariaDB. This is possible. This is a typical layer model of a data warehouse. I want to show you what we do. We cover the development process from the source, to the staging area, to the core layer, data mart, to the in-memory layer, double arm layer, of course, to the presentation layer. So we generate also a Power BI model. We also generate a Tableau model, also a Click. And one of our next steps is we say to this export layer, so that we are able to export the last layer of the data warehouse to any kind of analytical database. So for example, for HANA or for everything what you want.
Music licensing reimagined.
So in this screen, I explain a little bit how AnalyticsCreator is working. We have a 5-step approach. In the first step, you connect with AnalyticsCreator to the database. In the second step, AnalyticsCreator pick up the data, the metadata, just the metadata of the database if it's there. If not, you have to declare it. But normally it works automatically. AnalyticsCreator pick up the key information, the name of the fields, the columns, and all the things. And after that, in the step 3, intelligent wizard analyzes this metadata and suggests you a data model for a draft data warehouse. There are several different possibilities. You can use a suggestion for a data vault or for Kimball or a mixed one. yeah, there are several different things. And in the step 4, you optimize the model. Yeah, you do your validations, you clean things, you add your KPIs, of course. Yeah, you do a lot of things. You change, for example, the historization concept, slowly changing do or snapshot historization, all those things. Yeah, this is the real development process in the step 4. And in the step 5, the source code will be generated. Yeah, and deployed to the target, to Azure, to Power BI, Tableau, to SQL Server, whatever. So these are some use cases how you can use AnalyticsCreator. It's the green field. Yeah, you have nothing in place, so it's very easy to use AnalyticsCreator. This is a very common thing, but I would say the same is to modernize existing data warehouse. 50% they have actual data warehouse in place, and it's possible to do a redesign of the architecture to import some parts of the existing data warehouse or from a layer, for example, from a staging layer, yeah, the data, and also to import some of the code to use it in AnalyticsCreator and generate the data warehouse new on a new type of idea. Yeah, for example, to switch from Kimball to Data Vault. Yeah, the next thing is very common. We have a lot of customers which are using SAP, and therefore we have a good connectivity with Theobald, the company Theobald, together to pick up the data and run very easily and smoothly a data warehouse with SAP. Yeah, we have very nice possibilities to shift a data warehouse from on-premises to Azure. This will be also used more and more, and also some customers use the near real-time data platform from Azure, and also we support that. If you're thinking to get in a partnership with us or be a freelancer, there are different interesting use cases and business models to manage a multi-client environment and the analytics platform with this, or to use AnalyticsCreator as a managed service. There are many more use cases, of course, but these are the most important. So some of the values proposition of AnalyticsCreator, I spoke already about that, but the most common thing is that you have results in days, not in weeks. It supports a very agile process in this, so you are very easily possible to change the idea of your data warehouse very fast. Yeah, in the past you need always a waterfall process that you plan the processes developing data warehouse very carefully. Of course, you will do it anyway, but it's easier when you have some changes, or if you show the results to your customers, that you can do much more faster iterative steps with a very nice result. Yeah, you have less consulting and less resources, of course. You have multiple time more productive. It's made for non-experts and also for experts, of course. Yeah, you have an holistic data model. Yeah, this data model is the bridge between the IT and the business, and this helps you to understand the whole process from the beginning, from the source to the calculations, the data movements to the KPIs. Yeah. And for that, the business can use the data lineage model 2 of AnalyticsCreator and understand much more better where the data is going and what's in there. Of course, automated documentation with Visio Word, and the technology, you have always the earliest versions available, that you can use the earliest versions of Microsoft technology. We will always support that. For example, now the SQL Server 22 will appear, I think, in June or July or something. We will have a test version at the moment, and there are a lot of many features which are very interesting for you, and we will support this also. So don't care about the technology. We always cover this, and you have always your holistic model. And if the back end changes somewhere, it doesn't matter. You can always generate the source code for the target environment you're looking for. So on this step, I will end my presentation. If you have any questions, I can answer you now. Or Dimitri will take
okay, then
the presentation.
I will present my screen by the moment. Okay, I hope you can see my screen better. Can you confirm, please?
Just a moment. Yep.
Okay, then let me start AnalyticsCreator and our presentation. Today I will create a small data warehouse and publish it on Azure. As a data source, we will use AdventureWorks database of Microsoft. But first, I will create a new repository. A repository, this is a new data warehouse project. Okay, demo AdventureWorks. I started AnalyticsCreator, and now I create the new repository, which will contain the description, the definition of our data warehouse. Repository, this is just a SQL Server database located on my local SQL Server. You have always access to this database, and this database contains the whole definition of the data warehouse. You can see here the database called rep_demo AV. This is our repository, and the structure of this repository is pretty simple. Wait a moment, it's creating. Okay, refresh. Okay, it's creating now. Okay, the new empty repository, new empty project is created, and take a look on it again. Well, the structure of this repository is pretty simple, and you can access every object and get the definition of which tables do you have in your data warehouse, which transformations, which sources, and so on. You can directly work with this repository. At the first, I will add the new connector. Let me do it, add connector. AnalyticsCreator supports different kind of connectors, like any database, like Oracle, Microsoft SQL Server, any OLEDB or DBC data source, text files, Excel files. We can work together with SAP directly. We can read the metadata from SAP, and then later we can generate integration service packages to import the data from SAP using Terabyte connector. We support Azure Blob Storage, and in the newest version we support OData interface too. But now we will use SQL Server as a data source, and I have here connection string as the database name is Works 2012, I think, and adapter is AV. Let me test connection. Oops, sorry. I was wrong. T1. Yes, successful. Okay. Here I have a connector, and now I will start a data warehouse wizard, which will help me automatically create the draft version of my data warehouse. Of course, I can add new sources, import the sources step by step, add historizations, transformations manually, but the wizard can do almost 90% of this work for me and create the draft version of my data warehouse, which I can finally adjust and fine-tune, adding new measures and so on. But the most work data warehouse can do by himself. Okay, first I should select the tables which import into my data warehouse. Let me get the different tables from the human resources schema. Okay, that's not. Okay, here I can distinguish between different architecture types like classic or Kimball or data vault schema, or you can use a mixed approach, it's our own development. This is something where we mix the best from Kimball and data vault world. But we will create the typical Kimball model. And here we can decide what we will do with the sources. We will import them. We will historize every table. We will create the dimensions from every table, and then I will create some fact transformations for these three tables. Okay, next. Here I can decide how the objects in my data warehouse will be called. For example, all dimensions will have a team prefix in the front, and so on. Okay, here I can modify some additional parameters. For example, I will create the calendar dimension, but let's just click on finish. And now the wizard is analyzing the metadata of the source database and generates the data warehouse. It's okay. And here you can see the typical layer diagram of the data warehouse. From the left to the right, you can see first this is the source layer, and here you can see the source tables which we import from AdventureWorks database. Staging layer. First we import the data into the staging layer, then there is a persistent staging layer where the historized data will be stored. Then there is a core layer where the data will be transformed into the effects and dimensions. And then there is a data mart layer containing the data stars. And this data mart layer later can be converted or exported into the OLAP cubes, multidimensional or tabular OLAP cubes or Power BI models. Well, let's take a closer look on the single elements in this data warehouse. first sources. If I click double on the source, I can see the structure of the source, nothing specific. Okay, the structure of the staging tables is the same like the structure of the source, with the same fields, with the same field types. The import definition can be found, you can find here. If you click on this IP square, you will see the IP as import package or import pipeline in case of Azure. Here you can see the import definition. There is a mapping between source and target fields. You can add some transformations here in the, as I said, statement column. You can define different filters. It is possible to define variables and use them in filters. Using this approach, you can define the differential data loading. You can load not all the data, but only the data which will be restricted by the filter which you define. You can add the different scripts to your import process, which will be started for and after import. But okay, import is import. Okay, the next step after the data will be imported is the historization of the data. It is not mandatory to use historization, of course. You can continue to work without historization, but we always recommend to historize the data. The historized table, if we click on this department table, has additionally 3 fields, 2 of them. This is validity time period, the date from and date to, the validity time period for specific data row. And there is one more field in our case called SATS ID. This is a surrogate key of your new surrogate key of the historization table. This is the typical slow changing dimension historization. In this table, every data row has the surrogate key and validity period, and there is nothing specific except that you can configure your historization very, very widely. If you click on HP square, you can see here the definition of the historization, and we can very widely configure this historization. First, you can, for example, decide for every column in your table which historization type you will use for this specific column. Full historize means the history of the changes in this column will be stored in historized table. If you select actual only CD1, then no history will be stored in historization, but the value of the actual historized data row will be actualized when the source column was changed. And none means no changes in this field will be tracked, will be detected. Okay, therefore, using this way, you can separately define the historization type for every column in your table if necessary. For example, you can exclude some fields from the historization. It's very useful sometimes. You can, okay, there is one more interesting thing, missing source behavior. What happens when this data in the data source is missing? Usually, you should close your historized data, means you should set the date, this field to the actual date, and the validity period of the data row will be closed, but sometimes it is better to remain the data open in the historized table. Or there's one more thing at empty record. It is useful if the data times will be closed and then will be added again, will be deleted, will be added again in the source table. In this case, the historization table will contain the gaps in the historization timeline, and you can close such gaps by adding the empty record. Sometimes very useful to simplify the future estimation of the data. You can add the different filters to decide which data will historize. You can add the variables to the historization procedure to manage for example, the filter values. You can in case, for example, your data source, the source of the historization is already historized table, you can take this historization into your data warehouse. You can use existing historization from your data source. It is possible too. But as I said, our historization is very, very powerful, and you can very widely configure it. And historization will be done using stored procedures. Stored procedure will be individually generated for every historization, and here you can see the text of this historization stored procedure. And if necessary, if you will, you can modify the stored procedure. If you click here on manually create a stored procedure, you can change it if you have some individual wishes. Okay. Okay, you can add some SQL scripts which will be started or after historization is possible too. Well, then the next layer we can see this is a core layer, and in the core layer, these blue squares are the transformations. AnalyticsCreator supports different kind of transformations, but the usual transformation in AnalyticsCreator, this is a view. If you click on this transformation, you can see that this is a tabular definition of this transformation. Here you can see which table will be used in this transformation. Here you can see the columns which will be exposed by this transformation. But AnalyticsCreator, based on this definition, generates the view. And you can see here this view text generated by AnalyticsCreator. And we support different kind of transformations, as I said. The most common is this is a regular transformation, which view text is generated by AnalyticsCreator. We support the manual transformations. Manual transformations, this is a view which text is generated by you. You only have to add this view text to AnalyticsCreator. This is a manual transformation. We support SQL scripts, stored procedure, or even manually created integration service packages, if you will, can be used to transform the data too. Okay. What is interesting here, we have here the predefined transformations. Predefined transformation, let me explain what is it. Save, and let's take a look on our view. You can see here in this view, every field from my department table is exposed without by view, without any transformation, without any change. Sometimes it is interesting to apply the transformations based on field type. For example, let me apply the stream transformation. Stream transformation will remove leading and trailing spaces from every varchar and varchar column. And if I take a look on my transformation, I see there are two columns, name and group name, and we can see rtrim and ltrim function calls. And well, such predefined transformation will be applied on every field of specific type, and sometimes very practical, very helpful. For example, okay, string max order, string null to an a, for example, will convert every null string to n.a string, and you can see here is null g1 name n.a. Okay, you can define such transformation by yourself. Here is a list of the transformation which we deliver together with AnalyticsCreator, but it is very easy to create their own predefined transformations. Well, then the next what I will show you is okay, for example, this transformation. This is the effect transformation. The effect transformation was automatically created by AnalyticsCreator. AnalyticsCreator found that the table employee department history is related to department employee and shift tables, and created the effect transformation based on this employee department history table. You can see here from every table participated in this transformation, we get the surrogate key. Surrogate keys is a SATS ID field, and expose them in this view. Here you can see the references between the tables which AnalyticsCreator imported from our data source, because the AdventureWorks data source contains the foreign keys, and AnalyticsCreator analyzed the foreign keys and found that how the tables related to each other, and used this information to create this fact transformation. In this fact transformation, we just combine all tables related to employee department history. This is, in our case, factless fact transformation, but let's modify this transformation and add some more fields, some more attributes here. First, in the table employee department history, there is a start date column and end date column, and two date columns containing information when the specific employer started to work in the department and when the employer finished to work in the department. Two date columns. But I will see here, instead of the date fields, the ID from calendar dimensions in AnalyticsCreator created for us. Wait a moment, I will show you the calendar dimension. This is this one, team calendar dimension. If I take a look on it, this is just the view which generate for every date the new role and in specific time period. And I will have in my fact transformation on this instead of start date and end date, according IDs from calendar dimensions. And to do that, we can use the macros. First, I will let me show you what I mean. Macro. I used right now the macro date to ID, and this macro will convert the according date into ID from calendar dimension. What is the macro? Let me show you. Macro date to ID, edit macro. Macro, this is just a SQL statement, or it can be not only SQL, it can be a statement in other languages. And in this statement, the specific part are replaced by such placeholders. This double.1, this is a placeholder, and later when we call this macro, this double.1 will be replaced by the first parameter of my macro call. Would I have here double.2? This double.2 would be replaced by the second parameter of the macro call. This macro do nothing more than calculates the number of days between year 1980, the 1st January, and the actual date. And this is the ID from calendar dimension. And if I take a look on my employee department history effect transformation, you can see here this macro call date to ID. If I take a look on the view, I can see this macro call was replaced by the macro text, and double.1 was replaced by the one start date. This is this first macro parameter, start date and end date. Well, what is here interesting additionally, every table here in which we use in this transformation, this is a historized table, and it is pretty difficult to join historized table because the usual in stage in historized table that can be more data rows for every primary key, because every historization table contains a history of the changes of specific data row, and it's difficult to join the tables together. How do we join tables? To do that, we use a specific historization. We can our transformations can have different historization types. In our case, this is a snapshot historization. And if we take a look on our view and how the tables are joined, you can see on the top of the from part, there is a snapshot table. Snapshot table, this table was created by the Wahab wizard automatically. This is a table containing dates. There is at least one row in this snapshot table with the actual date. And every other table is joined to the snapshot table using this join condition, snapshot date between date from and date to from the specific historization table. That means for every snapshot date, we get from every historization table the data which were actual for this snapshot date, and then we join the tables together using the business join using the table references like department ID or business entity ID and so on. Important is you can add more date values to the snapshot table. That means you can add, for example, to the snapshot table the end of the previous month, end of the previous month, and so on, more data in the past. And in this case, you will be able to have access to the previous versions of your data because the snapshot table, it's not only the table, this is the snapshot dimension in the data mart layer, and later if you define more snapshots, you can access to the data for specific snapshots in your data mart layer, in your Power BI models, for example, and it is like the additional timeline in your data warehouse, or the possibility to see the old versions of your data if you need it. If not, you can continue to work only with the actual date in the snapshot table, or for example, you can say I will use only actual data in my transformation, in my effect transformation. In this case, there is no snapshot transformation, but there is one additional where condition date is hist or date 2 is this is how to recognize the actual data in the historized table. Okay, but I will change back to the snapshot transformation type. So, okay, this is about the effect transformation. What I will additionally do, I will persist this some fact transformation, I can add persisting. Wait a moment. Yes. Persisting. That's just a moment. I will do it with some more tables. Persisting. There's one. Finish. And one more. Transformation. And the transformation. Not the transformation. Add persisting. Add the persisting. Okay, let me synchronize the data warehouse. If I click here on the synchronized data warehouse, the model which I designed here will be materialized on my SQL server in the new database. There is a new database created during synchronization called TWH-demo-AV. And this database containing the structure of my data warehouse. Every time when I click on Synchronize the warehouse, the structure which I designed here is materializing, and I can take a look on the structure of my data warehouse, how it looks like. Okay. Okay, I added this persisting. What will persisting do? The content of this view during the ETL process will be stored in the table. Sometimes it is very useful to speed up access to your data in case of the complex transformations. And the structure of this persisting table has the same structure like the view, the same field names, the same field types, and this persisting will be done using storage procedure. And the definition of the persisting we can see here. Here you can see the text of the persisting storage procedure automatically generated by AnalyticsCreator, and here you can decide between the different types of persisting. Full means that the content of the target table will be deleted, and the data will be fully. This is just a full load. All the data will be deleted when you inserted into the persisting table. We support different incremental persisting types like merge or incremental only, or in case of historized data, there is one specific persisting type, historical. Or if you want, you can use a manual persisting, and in this case you can modify the storage procedure which we generated by AnalyticsCreator and do something specific. Okay, if you will. You can add pre- and post scripts, the scripts which will be running before or after persisting and so on. Okay, then that's okay. This is about core layer, and on the right side you can see this data mart layer. Data mart layer. This is the interface layer of our data warehouse, and it contains the data stars. And later, when we generate the OLAP cubes, the structure of this data mart layer will be used to generate the OLAP cubes. First, let me take a look. Also, okay, well, when I, for example, this is my team department transformation. If I will, that this transformation should be participate in the specific data star, I should select here the star name and the name of my dimension in the data mart layer. Okay, and you can see on the right side, this is team department. This is just the view generated in the data mart schema, and this view, okay, is generated by AnalyticsCreator. What is here important? I can define here, for example, some measures in the data mart layer. To do that, I will select my fact transformation. Let me set the filter. Set filter. If I click on set filter, the only object related to the filtered object will be shown in the diagram. And then I click on this T-square on the right side of my object. And here I can see all the column in my transformation or in my fact transformation. It's okay. And here there is a tab measures where I can define the measures for my all-up cube. And let me create some measures. For example, distinct count of. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong button. Okay, I will create additionally distinct count.
Dimitri, wir sehen das nicht. Ja.
Sorry, you can. Could you repeat, please?
Please, there should be any other window where you do your work.
Oh, sorry. Wait a moment. I will. Let me present my screen again. 1 moment, please. Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, well,
Yes.
then I continue. Okay, I will just continue to add some more measures to the employee department history fact transformation. Distinct count. Okay, save. Okay, and one more measure I will add. This is, for example. So controls example. Okay, and here I would just add the DAX statement count. Our table name is department history. Just the DAX statement which I can use to create the measures too, no problem. Okay, I just added 4 measures to my fact transformation. Okay, what additionally I will do, we can take a look on our columns here, and I see that the column FK end date is bound, start date, sorry, is bound to dim calendar dimension, but the column end date is not bound to dim calendar dimension, and I will do it. In this case, I will create the new dimension. End date. This is because I need 2 calendar dimensions for every date column in this fact transformation. Okay, and let me. Well, and I think our data warehouse is almost complete. Okay, synchronize the data warehouse. Well, now I can see that there are 2 calendar dimensions. One of them is the dim end date. Let me rename the dim calendar into dim start date. Or, okay, that's okay. Dim start. And, okay, synchronize the warehouse. Our data warehouse is, or our model is complete. Remove filter. We defined now some measures in this employee department history fact transformation. Okay, let me add here some measures too to another fact transformations, because some fact transformations, some measures not count, but distinct count, sorry. Okay, and here maybe two measures column and distinct count. Well, okay, our model is ready, but it is still not the data warehouse. That's the model, and now we will deploy it. You can deploy it on premise by creating the SQL Server databases, analysis service model, and maybe SQL Server integration service packages to containing the definition of tell process, or you can deploy your data warehouse on Azure. And today we will deploy our data warehouse on Azure. You can, of course, create the mixed architectures. For example, your data warehouse can be located on Azure, but the Power BI model you can, your data warehouse can be located on premise, but your Power BI model you can publish on in cloud. Different mixed architectures are possible, of course, but today we will create the pure Azure data warehouse. What do we have to deploy our data warehouse? Let me show you. First, I have the Azure database. This is our demo Azure SQL Server. And on this SQL Server, we have this empty database called AV, and we will deploy our model into this empty database. This is the first thing that we will do. Then we have, I will show you. We have Power BI environment, which is empty now. In this Power BI environment, there is one empty workspace prepared specially for our demo, and we will deploy our Power BI cube, or we will create a Power BI cube here in this AV workspace. Important is this workspace. This is sorry. Okay. Okay. No. This is a Power BI Premium workspace, and only in case of Power BI Premium workspace you can deploy directly from AnalyticsCreator. And additionally, we have the Azure Data Factory, which is empty now, and we will generate Azure Data Factory pipelines to load the data into the Azure database and to process our Power BI cube. At the moment, this workspace is, this data factory is empty, no pipelines, no data sets, and so on. The only what we have here in this Azure Data Factory, there are 3 integration runtimes. The first of them is auto-resolved integration runtimes, and 2 runtimes are used to get the data from our servers. Okay, and I will use this environment now to generate deployment package and to deploy our data warehouse. Now we will generate deployment package. This is a Visual Studio solution containing everything what you need to deploy your data warehouse. Okay, let me create new Azure Deployment. Okay, and what we will generate? First, we will generate the TechPack file. TechPack files the most modern way to deploy SQL Server databases, and we will deploy this TechPack file. TechPack compatibility is unimportant in our case. We don't use any specific features of any SQL Server. Okay, and here we should, because I will deploy directly from AnalyticsCreator. In this case, when I deploy directly from AnalyticsCreator, I have add here the server and database names where the database should be deployed to. And in this case, copy. Okay. And database name is AV. Okay. And standard security. So then we will generate the tabular OLAP cube. Here I can select that I will generate the tabular OLAP cube. Important is in case of Power BI deployment to select compatibility layer level Power BI. Server, this is the endpoint address of my Power BI server. Let me show you. Okay. I have my Power BI Premium, an endpoint, and I will add it here because I will deploy directly from AnalyticsCreator. Okay, database name, this is AV, for example. Okay, and here I should enter my Power BI credentials.
Music licensing reimagined.
Oh, sorry. And my password. Okay, create cube during deployment, Power BI as schema. So then on the right side, I can decide what I will generate for the process. I can generate integration service packages, but in our case, we will use Azure Data Factory pipeline to generate for our ETL process to load the data. Okay, save. I hope I forgot nothing. Let me check. Okay. Okay, then let's try to deploy. And now AnalyticsCreator is creating this Visual Studio solution. As I said, now I'm deploying directly from AnalyticsCreator. It is not necessary, and usually, okay, you can deploy from AnalyticsCreator, but only maybe in your development or test environments. For productive environments, it's better to deploy manually. After this Visual Studio solution is created, you can deploy from AnalyticsCreator from this solution. It is of course possible. Okay, and now our database is very good. Database was generated. Let me show. Let me check. This AV database was empty. Now, okay, I have to refresh. Exactly. Now we can see that database was deployed. Okay, this is our Power BI. Let me check. Power BI was created. Check. Database, and yes, this is our AV database, which was created by AnalyticsCreator, and additionally AnalyticsCreator created the Azure Data Factory template, which we will import now into our Data Factory. this ARM template. To do that, we have to select ARM template, import ARM template, and build your own template in editor and load file. And then we should select the ARM template generated by AnalyticsCreator. Here you can see every time when the new deployment project will be generated, new directory will be created here. And this is a directory created by AnalyticsCreator right now. And here is a JSON file, demo AV JSON. And let me select it. And this is this ARM template for my Azure Data Factory. Save. Okay, I will select here existing existing repository and review and create. Okay, and create. Okay, now deployment is in progress, and we should wait a little bit, and then we can check how our data factory environment looks like. Okay, the deployment is complete. Let's go our data factory again. Okay. Oops. A moment. Okay. Well, now our data factory contains the definition of the ETL process, and you can see here, for example, under factory resources, there are the different tables, the sources, and so on. Our data factory contains yet the full definition of our data warehouse and of the pipelines to fulfill the ETL process in our data warehouse. What we additionally have to do, we have two linked services. One of them is the linked service to our data warehouse, and one of them is the linked service to our AdventureWork database. This is this database located on our SQL server, which is the source for our data warehouse. And we should say which linked services will be used in this, which integration service runtime should be used together with these linked services. Okay, for our data warehouse, we will use auto-resolved integration runtime, that's correct. And here I have to bind my runtime to my linked service. Okay, SQL Server, managed identity, no, this is SQL Server authentication, and I will use, okay, and, okay, so, one moment, I forgot. SQL database I forgot to select. Apply. Test connection. Okay. One moment, I will try to test connection if everything is okay. Connection successful. Okay, cancel. And now I will connect our AdventureWork linked service to the integration service runtime 2. This is our integration service runtime, which is located on our SQL server. Okay, database name, SQL server petitions wrong. I will use Windows authentication, and you Yes. Well, I hope that this test connection successful. Well, now I found the linked services generated by AnalyticsCreator to the integration service Runtimes in my data factory, and I can start my ETL process. Important is there is one pipeline called workflow package. This runtime, this pipeline should be executed to complete the ETL process. It's not necessary because there are different pipelines generated by AnalyticsCreator, historization, importing pipeline, persisting pipeline, but only workflow package should be executed to fulfill our ETL process. Let me start it. Okay, now we should wait a little bit, and I hope everything will work. Well, meanwhile, ETL process is running. We can take a look maybe on our OLAP cube generated, or on our Power BI model generated by AnalyticsCreator. Okay, let me open another tab and go into the Power BI. Here you can see in Power BI, in our baby workspace, there is a new database or new connector. This is the connector generated by AnalyticsCreator, and when you can see the import is done, historization is done. Now the persisting will be performed. I hope after exactly. Okay, our ETL processes are done, and the data are loaded into the data warehouse. And the next step, what I will do, I will process this data source. Well, and let me. Okay, we will process this data source and send this data set, and then let's take a look on the structure of this data set. Okay, wait a moment, there is something. Skip here.
Artlist.io.
Okay. Sorry, maybe I forgot to add credentials to my the credentials were wrong. Wait a moment, I will immediately fix it. Dataset. Security.
Artlist.io.
Dataset description, dataset credentials, exactly. Credentials. Canvas. Necessary to add the credentials to access the data in my Azure database. Okay. Now I will check. Try. Okay. Well, now the OLAP cube is the data in the cube in this data source is processed, and let me okay, what we can do here. For example, we can create a small report. Department history. There are our measures. Those. And so on. As I said, well, now we have the Power BI model containing the data, and you can create the new reports and so on. Maybe we can try to create the it not save. I will try to create the insights. Wait a moment. Insights. Insights. Yep, quick insights. And maybe the Power BI can prepare for us now some insights for this data set. I just created the Azure data warehouse containing Azure SQL Server database, containing Power BI model, containing the ETL process in form of data factory pipelines, and everything using AnalyticsCreator. The same model you can publish deploy on-premise without any change, or you can create a mixed architecture where different parts of your environment will be located on-premise and on Azure. It's absolutely no problem. You can see the Power BI created for us different insights based on the information in our data warehouse. Well, I think I'm done. If you have any question, please, you can ask me. Peter, if you want, you can.
Yeah, I'm here. So, thank you, Dimitri, for the good presentation. Yeah, if there are some...
Yes, there's a question from my side. So, yeah, thanks, Dimitri. Really, really great. Yeah. So within 2 hours, or within 1 hour, everything is done. Yeah, at the end, this is a tabular model that is created here in Azure.
Yes.
And my question to you is, do you have an experience about the costs running, let's say, 1 gigabyte, 10 gigabyte, 100 gigabyte?
At the moment, this Power BI on Premium is very, very cheap solution. Let me show you.
Okay.
Well, there is a table from the Microsoft where you can see it. Power BI. Sorry. At the moment, I think the model size on your Power BI Premium can be up. If you use this per user subscription costs €70 per month.
Yes.
You can use up to 100 gigabyte models. Let me. There is a table. Microsoft Power BI subscription comparison. Okay. I think you can see it here. there are three different this is Power BI Pro, Power BI Premium, Pro per user, and per capacity. Per capacity,
I have this premium
exactly.
subscription.
And this
right?
premium subscription, you can see here, up to 100 gigabyte size, model size, and
48 refreshes per day. Yeah, okay.
Yes, exactly. And I think it is the cheapest, and you have only paid to. I'm not sure if it's only costs which you should pay, but if I understand it correctly, you can create in your account, in your Power BI Premium account, this model, and then you can share this model with everybody. And this other user accessing your Power BI model does not need any Power BI license at all, I think.
Yes, I've seen
this. Yes. Because in the past, every user accessing Power BI had to
Pro license,
exactly, or Pro license or Office 365 license. At the moment, I think it is not necessary. And if it is really possible, only for 70 euro per month to store up to 100 gigabyte models in the cloud, it is. It's great. It's great, and you don't need the SQL Server Analysis Service license. Everything will be stored and processed in Power BI Cloud.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Welcome.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Okay, Peter.
Maybe there are some other questions.
Yes, Kevin here. Hi. Thanks also
Kevin,
for this really good presentation from your side. I would be just interested in how do you also versionize or historize the different versions of your code?
I understand. Very, thank you for your question. First, there are two different ways how to versionize our model. First, when I can store this model in cloud, in our cloud, if I click here on Save to Cloud, I can store my repository. And every time when I store my model in cloud, the previous version of the model will be not replaced, but still exist on my on the cloud. Let me save again. I clicked twice on the save button and I stored my repository now twice in my cloud. And when I click on load from cloud now, has demo AV. Wait a moment. And this demo AV, you can see this triangle on the left, and this is the previous version of the repository which I stored, and this is the actual version of the repository I stored. This is the first thing. It is not the version controlling, but every time when you store your repository, the previous version will be not replaced, and you can always load the old version. This is the first thing. The second thing, you can store your repository save to file. You can click here on save to file. If I store my repository, for example, the repository will be stored as SQL file. This is just the usual, the normal SQL file containing the full definition of every table in my repository database. Let me open it. Open file. Wait a moment, where did I store it? Save file, I stored it in my documents, okay. My documents. Exactly, this is this one. And you can see, this is just a normal SQL file. containing everything, containing the full repository, the all repository data. And you can versionize this SQL file using your Git, Bitbucket, or I don't know, Subversion or any other version controlling tool. And because this is just a text file, which can be versionized. This is the second way to use either our cloud or store a repository in the file and versionize it by yourself.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Maybe there are some other questions. Everything clear? You do your project next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one
you can
question.
do it. You can go on our website and
Yeah,
press the
just-
button free trial and do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's free for 30 days. Yeah, it's if you need some longer time, it's no problem. You can ask us, and we help you too. So if you do the trial and you have any questions, just call us and we will find a time slot where we can help you. But the best is, to be honest, at the early beginning, it's the best to watch some videos. Yeah, now you had a presentation, but on YouTube there are some videos for different areas, I would say. For data vault, for Power BI, for many different SAP and so on, many things, and check out the right video, watch it, and try it step by step. Yeah, do the same what Dimitri is doing, and hold on the video and do it and start again. And I think it's the best way. Yeah. Also, we have a wiki. It's on wiki.analyticscreator.com. There many things are explained in the 5-step approach, what you can do, different ways to get to the target. And yeah, do it, no problem.
Well, then thanks.
If there are
Thank you
no
very much.
questions anymore, and maybe Kevin want to say anything now?
No, just wanted to thank you again and say goodbye, because I also have
Okay.
to for the next meeting. Yes.
Thank
Do
you
you
very
have
much.
some minutes left, Dimitri?
Yes, of course, Robert.
Yes.
Let's
Just-
continue
Okay,
in
thank
this.
you, everybody. If there are some any more questions, just contact me, send me email, and yeah, have a nice weekend. See you soon, and bye bye.
Okay.
Bye bye. Thank you. It was very interesting.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Music licensing reimagined.
Also, Robert, du kannst jetzt Deutsch sprechen. Ja. Hi, grüß dich.
Jetzt sind wir noch. Hallo Dimitri. Ja, du,
Hi.
ich wollte nur noch kurz fragen,
Mhm.
wenn jetzt neue Daten hineinkommen in dieses Ding, wie mache ich da jetzt den Refresh der Daten in die Azure-Welt hinauf?
Eigentlich stopp. Erstens, die einfachste Möglichkeit, warte mal, ich präsentiere dann. So. Also, das Einfachste, wenn du AnalyticsCreator im AnalyticsCreator Deployment Package generierst, du kannst hier einfach im Deployment Package sagen, Prozess Cube in Workflow Package. In diesem Fall, in diesem Workflow Package Pipeline soll, ich bin zwar nicht ganz sicher, ob das funktioniert, aber ich glaube, ich prüfe nochmal, aber normalerweise es muss funktionieren. Wenn Prozess in Workflow Package drin steht, dann wird hier in diesem ich gehe dann wieder in mein Data Factory, hier wird glaube ich, noch ein Kästchen erscheinen, wo steht, wo OLAP-Cube prozessiert wird. Aber ich bin hier nicht 100% sicher. Sonst musst du hier manuell das Workflow-Package anpassen und entsprechend ein Pipeline erstellen, in dem dein OLAP-Cube prozessiert wird. Ich prüfe, wenn das nicht automatisch gemacht wird, weil ich glaube, ich habe das doch implementiert, aber so muss eigentlich ja, das gehört zu Workflow Package einfach. Du kannst einfach hier sagen nochmal, wir brauchen einen so erstens neue Pipeline. Also ja, warte mal, aber ja. Es gibt ein Power BI Pipeline, Moment mal, das ist...
Ich glaube, man muss bei den Pipelines auf die Punkte drauf.
Ja, kann sein, ja.
New Pipeline, genau.
Genau.
Vom Template. Okay, alles klar.
Ja, das ist, glaube ich, wenn du dein Power BI... Stopp, warte mal. Nee, das ist das eine, genau. Die zweite Möglichkeit, du kannst im Power BI sagen, du möchtest also ein Scheduler einrichten, in dem diese Processing erfolgt. Und da kannst du ein Scheduler einrichten. Moment, wo war das? Security Settings, Settings. Scheduler Refresh, genau. Du kannst hier Scheduler Refresh einrichten und sagen, wann dein OLAP-Cube prozessiert werden soll. Das ist wahrscheinlich noch einfacher. Ja. Du sagst einfach, also gut, wenn du immer die Daten, keine Ahnung, um 3 Uhr nachts lädst, dann kannst du, okay, hier vielleicht sagen, ja, und dann
die 48 Stunden also, heißt eigentlich da müssten wir eigentlich jede Stunde auswählen können.
Ja, wenn du möchtest, du kannst das auch machen.
Aber, ja, aber da hast du nur Daily und Weekly drinnen.
Du kannst hier nur Daily und Weekly. So. Sicher, interessant, habe ich. Stopp. Wirklich. Nee, warte mal. Ich glaube, du kannst hier sowas machen.
Okay, alles klar. Siehst du, auf das bin ich noch nicht gekommen.
Ja, genau. Und da fügst du einfach deine 24 Datensätze und eventuell so.
Ja,
also.
Ja.
Genau. Sorry, ich habe nicht so große Erfahrung mit diesem ganzen Zeug. Aber das. Und wie gesagt, wegen diesen Process Cube in Workflow Package, das werde ich gleich prüfen, ob ich das implementiert wurde oder nicht. Wenn nicht, dann mache ich das.
Okay, super. Ja, dann noch einmal danke. Ich habe heute wirklich viel gelernt. Ja, also
okay. Gerne.
gemacht. Und wenn du mir das noch sagen kannst, ob dieses Process Cube in Workflow Package sagen, was das genau macht, dann passt. Ja, okay.
Perfekt. Okay, gut.